Hi, I'm Max. I'm the creator behind Eat the Rich Art. I use he, him, and they, them pronouns, and here is what I made this week. So at the minute I'm working on 2 different videos. The first is all of my market prep ready for my alternative market in April, as well as a little bit of prep for my Easter market at the start of April. And then also I am starting my Pride prep for June. Well, June and August. So I'm starting to prep all of my Pride stuff. So those 2 videos will be coming at various points. But as part of that, I'm doing spooky things and I'm doing trans things. So this week I actually tried some new patterns, which was nice. I've done a decent mix of new and old this week. I think most of them are free patterns as well, which is cool. One of them is a very new pattern. I think it only got released a week or so ago. I'm really excited for it, so I will show you that very shortly. But yeah, that's a lot of what I've been doing this week. I don't think we've used any yarn up this week. I think we're down to scraps of balls, but it's been quite a productive week actually, which is good after the last couple of weeks being quite short. So without further rambling from me, is what I've got up to. So we started on the 17th. I've got a feeling the 17th was actually Tuesday. Yeah, I didn't crochet at all on Monday. Can't remember why. I think I was just busy and tired, because we've had 2 very long weeks past couple of weeks. So we had last weekend was the Creative Craft show. I had a family party, had a market, then had a medical appointment on Monday, then we were at a gig on Tuesday, then it was my birthday on Friday. So I was like trying to make sure I source people for that, and then we had a market yesterday, so Saturday. So now today we're finally resting. So that's why the past couple of weeks have been a bit short. So I didn't actually get to crochet anything until Tuesday because I just needed that recovery time on Monday. But we started with quite a few things actually on Tuesday, because that's when I started filming both of the videos. And when I start a video, I tend to start big and then taper off gradually with the amount of stuff I do for it. So we made 1 trans thing and 2 spooky things on Tuesday. So the 1 trans thing was my axolotl, the first one, spoiler alert. So that was fun. This is a new pattern to me. It's by Loretta's Loops on Rubbler. I think it's been out for a little while because I've had it saved for a little while. She does it in blanket yarn and it turns out like quite large, but I decided to do it in chenille because I thought that it'd be a good little like £6-7 purchase, just on the smaller end of the scale, because I already had my like giant capybara and my giant frog that I showed last week as well, taking up the larger end of the scale money wise. So I wanted something small, so I made this guy on Tuesday, and then I made another small thing, but this time a little more complicated. Made another pumpkin bat. I'd love to make more of this guy, but I've ran out of appropriately sized coloured eyes, so I may have to order some more. These are 12 mils. I usually put 10 mils in, so I do have some more coloured 12 mil eyes, but they're glitter disc ones, so I don't know how they'll look. I may just need to order some more 10 mils if I want to make more of this guy, but I love him so much. He's so cute. Of this time, I sewed his wings a bit more out wide rather than up behind his head, because I think last time, because I sewed them going straight up like that, people weren't sure what he was. Whereas I feel if they're out a bit more, it's a bit more clear that he's a bat because you can see the shape of the wings. So that was the second thing that I made. That is a mashup of a couple of different patterns. Well, I say it's a mashup of a couple of different patterns. The original pattern is for a bear popping out of a pumpkin, so I use that pattern for the pumpkin, the head and the little pumpkin-y bit on the top of it, and then I add my own pattern for the ears, and the wings is an adaptation of, can't remember whose pattern it is. I've got a feeling it's Baron the Bat. I just make a smaller version of those wings for this guy because they're a bit sturdier than flat panel wings. So that's how I make that one. Then I finished those two little things on Tuesday, and I decided to start on a big thing, thinking, oh, I won't finish this today, like, it's fine, but I'll at least get started. And then I did end up finishing him on Tuesday. So this is the, I call him the Pumpkin Toddler. I think the pattern's like Pumpkin Sack Man or Pumpkin Man or something like that, by Tobby's Handcraft, which is on Instagram. So he's a bestseller for me. I sell so many of him, so I made another one ready for the alt market. Last time I had him at the alt market, he went within 5 minutes of the market opening. So cross fingers that he goes again. He's a little wonky in the face this time because I didn't position the lumps on the pumpkin very well. I usually try and position it so that this bit here is one lump and the splits are kind of there so that the face can go between, but I ended up with it slightly off-centered this time, which means that one of the eyes is over the bump. So hopefully someone still loves him. We'll find out. So that was Tuesday, a very productive Tuesday for me. I don't usually make that much on a Tuesday, but I did this time apparently. Then after that, on Wednesday I started a hoodie bear, but my wrists were hurting a little bit, I think from making so much on Tuesday, and then this is parfait chunky, so it's quite a tough yarn to get through, so I only managed to do the hood and the arms on Wednesday, and then I finished the rest of it on Thursday. You can tell that I've combined Yarn Smith Chenille with parfait chunky because I ran out of the light blue and parfait chunky because his head is so big in the hood. The hood fits, but only just. But I made him colour block so that he's subtly trans for anyone who can't be out and loud at their home. So that's the hoodie bear that I made. A little bit on Wednesday, a little bit on Thursday, and then I had a very productive Thursday as well actually. So the next thing I did, some of this is wrong. Some of my dates are wrong on here. Because it's saying that I did all of that on Thursday and I didn't. I did some of that on Friday. Anyway, this guy was finished on Thursday, and then the other thing I did on Thursday was make one Beans the Frog by the girl who knots. This is her new pattern. She teased it in a recent video and I commented saying, oh my god, please release him, and she replied to say that he'd been posted on her Instagram. So he's so quick, so easy. He's 11 rows in total, takes like probably 20 minutes at most, and he's just so cute. This guy looks a little beat up because he was the one I ended up putting through testing, but he's come through relatively unscathed, to be fair. So his eyes look a bit weird because I had to cut the ribbon out, but yeah, that was him. So I made him. And that was what I made on Thursday. So I spent the rest of Thursday doing a bit of UKCA testing on all of these patterns that I made in the Partner Picked My Yarn challenge ages ago, and then just never got around to testing. So did that. Tested the things for Pride as well, because these two patterns are ones that I want to make in pretty much all of the flags because I think people are going to like them. So got them done out of the way so that I can make more of them ready for Pride. The other reason I did that testing on Thursday was because I want to make more of the Spaceship Aliens for my April markets because I think they will go quite well. Spaceship Aliens, Spaceship Turtles. This guy's gone so floppy. But yeah, so spent Thursday doing that. And then, like I said before, Friday was my birthday. So we had a lovely chill day on the sofa rested, watched some movies. We watched In the Heights and She's the Man and some of Last One Laughing season 2 and some of Bridgerton. We ate good food. We got a Chinese takeaway. I got chicken balls, rice and chips and curry sauce because I am nothing if not a stereotypical British person. I'm aware that that's not really Chinese food, but it's tasty and I have the tism, so I will not be accepting any criticism of my order being bland and beige. That's just what I eat. But yeah, so I wanted things I could make that were pretty easy and chill while we were just vibing, because I didn't want to be getting up and down for colours or having to really focus on the patterns rather than watching the films and things. So I decided to just make some multiples of things instead, and stick to a specific colour scheme, which you will see. So the first thing I did was I expanded my army of frogs. So this is beans 1. No, the one I tested is beans 1. This is beans 2. We have beans 3. And we have beans 4. I just love these guys. Like, look at their little tushies. They got big booties. They got big butts and they cannot lie. And they just, especially once you put them all together as a little army, they've got so much personality and I love them so much. I want to make so many more of them. So a huge thank you to Kayla for that pattern and for putting it out for free. I would have bought it because the second she showed him I was obsessed in her video. So I'm so glad it's out for free though, because yeah, I was really excited when I saw that. I was like, right, I need to make him immediately, and I did. Hence 4 beans. And now that I'm pretty much done with the trans video, I'm going to move on to the next flag. There will be a lot more beans happening, I can promise you that. So the next thing I did while I was doing that, just used the yarn I had with me, and again I wanted things that were fairly easy, so I made 2 more axolotls. Because the idea was I've got like different varieties of the flags then, but they're all still very subtle, so that if people again can't be out and loud, they're quite a subtle flag. I love this pattern so much. I really want to make it in blanket yarn. I don't think I have appropriate colours to make it in blanket yarn at the minute, unless I make a lesbian one or a pan one or an orange. Actually, I do have the appropriate colours. Looking now, yeah, I forgot that I bought more blanket yarn, so there will be some bigger axolotls in the pipeline as well as these little guys, but I love how small these are as well. The same with beans. I really want to make him in the blanket yarn so he turns out nice and chunky and big as well, but I love just the little guy that he turns out in the chenille. And yeah, that is everything that I have made this week. So in total that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plushies this week. A multitude of different patterns. I've not told you how much yarn any of these took either, so let's do that. Let's do a speed run. So, white axolotl took 21 grams of white, 4 grams of pink and 3 grams of blue, for a total of 28 grams of yarn. Then the other 2 axolotls, the blue one took 23 grams of blue, 9 grams of pink and 6 grams of white for 38 grams. I don't know why that one took so much more than the rest of them did, but it did. And then the pink one was 3 grams of blue, 19 grams of pink and 2 grams of white for 24 grams of yarn in total. So all 3 of these took different amounts of yarn, and I don't know why, so don't ask me, honestly. Then let me put these back in the bag so that I can tidy up as I go. Beans the frog, he took all of them took pretty much the same amount. So the first one took 5 grams of blue, 5 grams of pink and 2 grams of white. Then the other 3 all took 5 grams of blue, 4 grams of white and 5 grams of pink. So they took just a little bit more white. I don't know why. It must have been something to do with my tension because I wasn't focusing, or I might have changed the way that I connected the rounds or something, because the colour changes look a little neater on these guys than they do on the first one. I don't know. They took a bit more yarn somehow. This guy took 72 grams of rust, 19 grams of pink, 9 grams of white and 27 grams of the blue to make him. So yeah, very good, very nice. I probably should have added an extra row of increases to the hood, because I know that Parfait Chunky is bigger than Yarnsmiths, and I just didn't think to do anything about that, apparently. But I didn't, and is made, and he looks fine, so it's okay. The pumpkin bat took 16 grams of black, 17 grams of orange, 1 gram of rust, which is that bit there. Well, probably less than a gram, but can't really record like 0.5 grams because my scale isn't exact enough for that. And the same for the apple. I've put it as 1 gram, but it did probably take less for that man. And then finally, the pumpkin toddler took 32 grams of the vanilla fudge. He took, again, a gram of rust and a gram of green. That's how I know that the bat didn't take that much, because the stem's done differently and takes a lot less yarn. And then the orange was 38 grams of orange. He probably also took a gram or 2 of black for all of the embroidery, because it's a lot of embroidery on this one. So that is everything that I made this week. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments which your favourite make is. All of these patterns will be in the document linked in the description, and all of them should be on my Ko-fi store if I remember to update that. I've got a bit of updating to do from my craft fairs anyway, so I need to go through and add the new products as well. So that might end up being a Tuesday or a Wednesday job. Obviously this video will still go up on Monday, so if you check the store on Monday and the things that you want to have a look at aren't up yet, just check again later in the week. They will be up at some point. Yeah, like the video if you liked it, share it if you know anyone who might want to watch it, subscribe if you'd like to see more of these. I have market recaps and yarn hauls, and making everything in Pride Flag challenges, making everything spooky challenges, all ready to go. I upload what I made this week videos on Mondays at 2 PM GMT, and I upload all of the other types of videos on Fridays at 2 PM GMT, so subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see those going forwards. Check out my Ko-fi store. I've already said that. If you've got the hype option, please drop me a hype. That's really helpful for the algorithm. And I think they're all of the YouTubery things I need to say. So thank you again for watching, and have a nice day.